Guys, I'm going to talk today about Australia in the Korean War. It's going on YouTubers. And the reason I'm going to talk to you about Australia in the Korean War is for two reasons. One, today is October the 2nd. In addition to being my brother's birthday, it was an anniversary for the Australian Army. Great day because my brother's birthday, but also the Australian Army, the anniversary for the Australian Army being in the Korean War. Let me clarify that. Being in the Korean War, not necessarily in Korea, but the day they started doing serious missions. Okay, so it's the anniversary that they've started doing serious missions in the Korean War, and that is why I'm posting the video tonight, October 2nd, in Korea time. Okay, on October the 2nd, 1950. Okay, that is when the Australian Army, the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment, they started patrolling a lot of the areas in the Busan perimeter. Okay, they were in charge of patrolling 100 square miles of mountains. Okay, shortly after October 2nd, the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment experienced their first casualty. Lieutenant Ken Hammerston and his driver, they came across an unmarked minefield. Okay, and the Australians patrolled the area in the Busan perimeter. They did an excellent job of that. They were in charge of patrolling 100 square miles. Particularly B and C companies did that. B and C companies of the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment. Okay, the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment arrived in Korea September 27th, 1950. So shortly after they arrived, they were doing serious patrol missions. Okay, all right. And, they did their first operational patrols on October 2nd, 1950. I had to give one final and 2 midterms today. No, one final and 3 midterms, excuse me. So you will see more looking at the notes than normal. It was a rough day today. So anyway, all right, so here we go. Okay, so, but on October 9th, they were patrolling, October 9th, 1950, they were patrolling areas from Kaesong to Kumsan. Okay, and shortly... And they laid a lot of telephone lines in that area. The 6th South Korean Army Division was so impressed with how the Australian Army was handling that situation, laying so much telephone lines and using areas for communications and building lines for communications. They awarded the Australian Regiment. They awarded the Royal Australian Regiment. It was, from what the book says, the book was translated into English, and it can be a rough English translation sometimes, but it was like a decorated bull with the hoof on it, and like the hoof stood out. I don't know the symbolism in that, and I'm not even sure if it was that, because sometimes there are parts of the book that, because it's been translated into English, you have to look at very carefully. But nevertheless, they were awarded by the South Korean Army. Okay? Alright, Battle of Cheopyeong-ni. Okay, February 1951, the Royal Australian Regiment, along with the Canadians and the British Army, they took Hill 614 from the Chinese Army in the Battle of Cheopyeong-ni. Okay? They did that as well. Okay? That is how amazing the Australian Army was. And also, the Australian Navy came July 1st, 1950 with the frigate, the Shoalhaven, escorting U.S. troops into Korea. Okay? So God bless the Australian Army in that situation. Okay? All right, I will make further videos about the Australian Air Force because they were actually the first branch to come. They were based in Iwakuni. They were based in Iwakuni, and it was southwest of Hiroshima, actually. And they destroyed a lot of bridges and a lot of truck convoys, and particularly they stood out at the Battle of Naktung Perimeter. So anyway, I'm going to post a video about the Australian Air Force as well as the Australian Navy, but mostly it will be dedicated to the Australian Air Force, because what we need to remember about the Australian Navy is that they were first saw action July 1st, 1950, the frigate, the Shoalhaven, and they did a lot of troop escort missions to make sure that the U.S. soldiers that fought in the Battle of Busan Perimeter got to their destination safely from Japan. So, hope everybody's doing well. God bless the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment. Also, shortly after Cheopyeong-ni, the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment was in charge of fighting on the right flank of taking another hill. And the British and the Canadians took the hills without problems. But the But the Royal Australian Regiment had some problems because all the Chinese aggression was directed on their right flank. So the results were 2 killed and 7 wounded. And one of the ones who was wounded was the famous Australian Major Ben O'Dowd. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I had to look at my notes a lot more than normal. Rough day, really rough day at work today. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless. And God bless the brave Australian soldiers that fought in the Korean War. So hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.